Gong Yang signed a product endorsement contract for a national Chinese restaurant chain. The chain was similar to KFC. It had a 24 hours delivery service, and their specialty was crayfish. Gong Yang's manager and Winning Entertainment's copyright department had already passed the contract clearance, so there were basically no problems. He only had to simply look over it, take a pen, and sign it. When Gong Yang finished signing, and held up his contract, Qiaoangxia glanced over it and saw that the remuneration for the endorsement had a row of zeros. She wore no expression on her face, and instead turned to Gong Yang and pointed at the photo of the delicious crayfish on the contract. She said, "Crayfish is Qiao's favorite. In the middle of the night, she would drag me to Ghost Street to eat it." "Really?" Gong Yang turned his head and gave Qiaoangxia a warm smile. Then he continued to sign. "The company I'll represent cooks delicious crayfish. If she likes it, I can take both of you out for free. Eat as much as you like." "That's great." Qiaoangxia nodded confidently. If Qiao knew, she'd be so delighted for sure. Gong Yang didn't say a word as he checked and signed the contract. After making sure that he didn't miss a signature, he handed it over to the copyright manager in front of him. "Sorry to bother you." "That's fine, Mr. Gong." The copyright manager gave a friendly smile. Gong Yang nodded and said goodbye before taking Qiaoangxia's hand, ready to turn around to leave the copyright department office. On his way, he saw Lu Jinian standing nearby, as though he was waiting for someone for a contract. Gong Yang's footsteps paused for a moment, as he called out, "Mr. Lu." When Lu Jinian heard Gong Yang's voice, he turned his head. When he saw Qiaoangxia, his face didn't really show any emotion, he just greeted them with a light nod. Standing in front of Lu Jinian was a staff member who had coincidentally found the contract that he had wanted at this moment. He handed it over with both hands. "Mr. Lu, I found it." Lu Jinian didn't say a word. He stared with a careless look while accepting the contract. After flicking through it twice, he confirmed that it was the one he was looking for. Then he strode off and left the copyright department office. When Lu Jinian's meeting finished, and he was done handling his matters, it was already 8 in the evening. He dialed the internal line to let his assistant get the car ready. When he hung up the phone, he thought back to the afternoon at the copyright department when he had bumped into Qiaoangxia and Gong Yang. He thought about what Qiaoangxia had said, and so said over the phone, "Please wait. Mr. Lu, do you have any orders?" Lu Jinian's fingers lightly knocked on the desk as he said, "Order some crayfish from the restaurant chain that Gong Yang endorses. Bring it over to the set. They should be just about finish up filming, so everyone can eat supper together." Usually on set, the producers, director, and all those in money would treat everyone on set to something to eat. Even though Lu Jinian didn't enjoy socializing, but he would treat everyone when it was needed. And so, his assistant didn't think it was too suspicious. When he heard Lu Jinian's instructions, he directly followed orders. The assistant found the closest chain restaurant to Winning Entertainment and bought out all of their leftover crayfish of the day. He completely filled up the box that he had prepared. Just like Lu Jinian had predicted, it took about 5 minutes to reach the set by car, and filming for that day had coincidentally finished up about then. The assistant hurriedly walked over to the director's ear and said 2 words in a low voice. The director then took the microphone and shouted, "Everybody, don't leave just yet. Mr. Lu has bought us all supper tonight.